the cool thing about matrices is that, right, they're basically a system of equations, but when we rewrite them into a matrix, there's a lot more things that we can do with them, and it makes it easier to solve. So when we do row operations, there's 3 that we can do. The first one is we can interchange 2 rows, basically just switch 2 rows. The second one is we can replace a row by non-zero multiple, meaning you can take a row and like multiply it by 3 or multiply it by -2. You just can't multiply it by 0. And then the third one is you can replace a row by the sum of that row in a constant non-zero multiple. So I can do like 2 times row 1 plus row 3, okay, and replace that row. And I'm going to show you examples of those. So if we look at example, the first example, it says interchange any 2 rows. That one's probably the most straightforward. So it says here, it means to interchange row 2 with row 1. So it's basically saying row 2 is now row 1. Okay, so we're just going to trade those 2. So now row 2, I move it up to row 1. Row 1 becomes row 2. Let's see. And then that last row, row 3, it stays exactly the same. So all we did is we just switched row 1 and row 2. And that's probably the most basic operation that we can do. All right, the second one, it says replace a row by a non-zero multiple of that row. So now we're saying row 2. Okay, now what it says on the left-hand side is it says row 2. R2 is row 2. That means that is the row that's getting replaced. That's the row that we're going to replace. So we're actually going to take that second row and multiply it by -3. So the top row is already written in there for you. It stays the same. That second row, we're going to take each part and we're going to multiply by -3. And we put those answers here. So the first one is -3 times -1 is -3. Okay, and then the second one is -3 times -3, +9. The last one, -3 times -5, +3. Is this making sense so far? Yeah, doing okay? I think the third one's the most difficult, but it's not hard as long as you just write it down. That's the best way I can tell you to do it. Okay? This one's kind of filled in for us, but I'm going to walk us through it. Okay? So this is replace the row by the sum of that row in a constant non-zero multiple. So what this is saying is we're going to replace row 2. So row 2 is going to be brand new. And we're going to do 9 times row 1. Whatever's in row 1, and we're going to add it to row 2. So let me show you the process. Don't look over here yet. Let me just show you the process. Okay, so 9 times row 1. So if I look at the first entry of row 1, it's 1. So I would do 9 times 1. So do 9 times row 1. And then I'm going to add whatever is below it in row 2. So plus -9. So if you look right here, that's what's written in that first section. Okay, so we simplify that. So it'd be 9, that means basically 9 minus 9, right? And that gives us 0. So that's a mere new entry in that first set. I'm going to change colors here. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and do the second entry. So I'm going to do 9 times 5. What am I going to add to it? Yeah, plus 6, because 6 was directly below the 5. So right there you can see that's that second set. So that would be what, 45 plus 6, 51. Okay, and then that last one, okay, -9. So it's -9, I'm sorry, +9. +9 times my entry there, -9, plus, what am I going to add to it? -2, because that's what's directly below my -9. So we get -81 minus 2, -83. My brain's a little rusty after this. Okay, and that's probably the most complicated, but like I said, if you write it down, it's really not bad. Just, it's kind of tedious sometimes. Okay, do you have questions for me? Okay, let's go ahead and do the next one here. So it says, perform the row operation. By what I've given you, which row is going to be brand new? Yes, row 1, okay? Because that's what's here on the left-hand side is row 1, okay? So our operation is taking -4 times the entry in row 2 and adding it to the one above it in row 1. Okay, so I'm just going to write each step down. So our first one is going to be -4 times what? -4 times 2. Yep, we're in row 2. So -4 times 2, and I'm adding 9 because 9 is directly above it in row 1. Okay, I'm going to do my next color here. All right, what's next? What number? -4 times -5. Okay, I'm going to add what? Yep, I'm adding -2 because -2 is directly above it. Okay, and then I'm going to do -4 times. That's 7, and I'm going to add. What am I adding, friends? Okay, so we have that last row. So -4 times -2, and we add a -2 because -2 is directly above. Okay, now you're just going to simplify all of it to get the numbers. You can check my work, tell me if I do something wrong here. -8 plus 9 is 1. 20 minus 2 is 8. -28 plus 1 is -8 minus 2 is 6. Did anybody get any different answers on those? No. Okay. So now, which row are we replacing again? Row 1. So row 1 is no longer what was in row 1 originally. It's these new numbers. We just got to make sure they get in order. I didn't have enough room to write it all the way to the right. So it's going to go 118, -27, 6. Okay. What do we do for row 2 and row 3? Keep them the same. So row 2 and row 3 are exactly what we started with. Okay, questions for me on that? Okay, I think I'm going to do probably the first practice question with you, and then I'll let you do the next one. So these practice questions are not written in matrix form yet. So you're going to go ahead and rewrite into matrix form. It'll help you see everything a little more clearly. Okay, so basically within each question you have 2 operations that you're doing. So the first operation right here, okay, is we're going to take row 2 and we're going to replace row 2 with -3 times row 1 plus row 2. Okay, so you can worry about what you're replacing in a minute. Let's go ahead and focus on this guy right here. Okay, so we're going to do -3 times row 1. So we're doing the first entry in row 1, which is 1. Plus whatever's directly below it in row 2, which is 3. Okay, then we're going to do the next number. So our next number is -3. So we do -3 times -3, and whatever is directly below it, we're going to add. Okay, see if you can do the next two on your own. Check those before you simplify everything. Make sure you have them written right. Okay, there's your new matrix. Okay, here's the trick on these questions though. When you do step 2, so you're going to replace row 3, 5 times row 1 plus row 3, you use your new matrix. Okay, so don't use the original matrix for that step 2. So when you do this guy right here, you're going to use your brand new matrix from step 1. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm going to do this one up here, that way you guys can check your work and then I'll let you kind of do your thing.